I just saw Now You See Me, Now You Don't in Dolby. That's right, in Dolby, but is it any good? We'll talk. Hi, how you doing today? It's Just Jess here. Hope you're having a good day. And today, yes, we just saw Now You See Me, Now You Don't in Dolby, but is it worth it in that format? Honestly, probably not. It really depends on you. Usually on this channel, I would give you bullet points, but this is not an IMAX review, so we don't have to get to the technicality aspects of it. I'm just gonna tell you about my experience. Even though it's technically sound, let's be honest, I don't think it's valuable or worth it to go see it in a premium format. Now, don't get me wrong, if you have the option, go for it, but you still get all the technical perks. The deeper blacks, the brighter image, and the sharper contrasts really make the magic show pop, no pun intended. But I felt like they didn't utilize it right, especially the second hack. It just bogs down the pacing of it. Now, don't get me wrong, as I told you before, if you have the option, go for it. But I don't think the magic will still work just as fine without the premium price tag. Now, let's get on with the review. Now You See Me, Now You Don't is a highly anticipated third installment from the beloved franchise of Now You See Me, and I definitely say it's classified as a crime thriller movie with a hint of magical experience at the cinemas. The movie picks up crazy 9 years or 10 years after the second installment. Crazy why it takes so long. The Eye manages to track down the remaining Horsemen to bring them back together to form a new team to take down a nefarious empire. Why did the movie take so long to come out? Did the Horsemen successfully pull off their last trick? And what about these new young actors addition? Are they going to replace our beloved Horsemen? Find out as we talk about it. Before we talk about the present, I have to acknowledge the past. I saw the first two movies opening weekend and their respective years when it came out. I also saw them multiple times throughout the year, and even on Thursday and Friday I saw them rewatched again, and I think they were on sale on Amazon, which I prefer physical media of course, but $4.99 is just a so good deal to pass up, and they still look good. The first one came out in 2013. I was graduating high school. The second one came out in 2016 in summer, and I was going through the worst heartbreak of my life, so I remember those days fondly because I thought I was gonna marry her. You know, I really thought, and it hurt me to my core. Rumors say they delayed the movie due to scheduling conflicts. I mean, you have an extensive A-list cast that have done a lot of great things. I mean, I still have Dave Franco and Nerve, so of course they all elevated it in terms of their acting careers. But still, getting them back together and getting the script right and the storyline, that's what the rumors say, but it's definitely not the best of the franchise, and that's definitely misleading, although some of you might think. But we'll see how this one measures up. But let's be honest, this comes nowhere close to the bank card scene. You've probably seen that video on YouTube various times. That scene with the bank and the vault and four of them transforming this card, peak cinema. I mean, it doesn't go to those highs, but it doesn't hit those lows either, so we'll definitely talk about it. It doesn't take long to get the core members back on screen, and I was thrilled. Isla Fisher is back as Henley Reeves, which if you don't know, she's from the first installment. I thought they recast her with Lizzy Caplan in the second film, but for story purposes, and I guess she had had a kid or whatever, or she had other nefarious things, or like devious stuff that she had to do in her life. So they get the original Horsemen back together, and it's not really a surprise because when I saw it in theaters, I kind of heard rumblings that Lizzy Caplan, Lula May from the second film, was gonna return. I don't watch trailers before I see the movie so I can get experience in the cinemas, oh my god, that just happened. However, after seeing the movie in my timeline and Instagram, you see her, there's Lizzy Caplan, the Lucy May, all over the trailers. I'm like, okay, and then some comments were like, is this kind of a spoiler? And yeah, it is, kind of, to be honest with you, it's whatever. And the way they're introduced, it's not just, okay, here's a character. There's a second big magical scene. They're doing a heist to steal the heart of diamonds or whatever, and it's the main cast, right? We get introduced to them drip feed slowly. They use fights, they use magic in terms of the sheets and the blankets, visually well done, with each character adding to the flavorful moment with their attributes and perks, and of course your contributions from the previous films into this one, combining in an all-out team. Now let's talk about the new additions, the rookies. This is the part I was hesitant about. We get the three younger actors getting past the baton, and I grew up with the original Horsemen, so I was so against them getting the spotlight. I grew up with the Horsemen. I like the original Horsemen. I felt like I've had years with them experience, right? And they feel like more than additions rather than functions of replacing the cast. But to be honest with you, I didn't need them in this movie. I was okay with Justice Smith, I mean, of course, the Pokemon movie, and Ariana Greenblatt because I know them from other films. And it works in tangent because Ariana Greenblatt goes with Dave Franco's. They're attacking each other, but they basically are a friendship, oh, who is the best pickpocketer, sleight of hand tricks. But also Justice Smith's character gets a mentorship with Isla Fisher's character, so that was pretty cool. But I did find the character played by Dominic Sessa Bosco annoying, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I really like his challenge to Danny Atlas' character in terms of the leadership position. It just felt manufactured and like, okay, like we have two, you know, dudes that kind of look the same. One of them is a younger generation, one of them is the higher generation, and who's gonna control the, you know, one of them's gonna control freak. So I'm just like, all right, well, I was like, oh, I didn't need you guys here. Like, I appreciate you guys. I know what you guys are trying to do, and I get it. It would be a disservice if the world of the Force Horsemen didn't entice new generations to live up to them, to be like them, to like, I mean, I get it, you know, but still, I'm like, you guys, I didn't need you guys to be in this movie. The film works best when it focuses on the main cast of the first two movies, with Isla Fisher's character and Lizzy Caplan's Luna together in one main cast, with the additions of course, Morgan Freeman and the other cast members that I don't want to spoiler. I feel like that was fine with an all epic, you know, showdown, but what we get is fine, but they could have definitely deleted the younger generation. But who knows, the box office would have not been kind because people didn't grow up with them, but I did. But it's just like, oh, you know, I'm a 30-year-old decently medium guy. When I say decent, I was being weird, but still, it's like, I didn't need you guys. I appreciate you guys, but you guys can go away. You know, I'm sorry. I said this in my quick out of theater reactions, but I can dive in deep in here and talk about it. I really feel like the second act of the entire film slows down and bogs down the pacing of it. I felt like with previous installments in movies, they usually have 3 big acts, and that's typical for any movie. But for other movies, it's one amazing show to get you the appetizer, the second, ooh, intense show, and then the third, which is the regular, like, oh my god, like this is amazing. But for this, I don't know, it just felt like a chunk of middle of nowhere, you know? They're inside this maze-like house, they're showing off their tricks, their drawn-out challenge, you know? While the scene itself, it's visually cool, picking pockets and moving around the stage and showing their techniques and abilities, it kind of reminded me of the scene from Avengers, you know, when they're bickering back and forth, you know, throwing out jabs to each other to see who's the best, like, magical person. They're showing their own techniques to each other, but also, like, in a friendly competition. But just like many of you, there's a lot of dialogue, exposition, yeah, there's some chase sequences, the room that moves, oh my god, that was so reminiscent of Inception, you know, the room that moves. I'm like, dude, that's cool. But the second act just feels weird. I did say in my quick out of theater reaction, there's only like 2 big acts. I mean, I guess there's a third one that I totally forgot, you know, when they're trying to get the diamond and stuff, and I'm so sorry. Because when I was watching the movie, I was waiting till the what if moment, like, oh my god, and I guess we did get that a few times, which I don't want to spoil it for you. I mean, the beginning was amazing, you know, oh my god, they're in this warehouse, but then you find out it's all fabricated, which that's all I'm gonna say. I'm like, what? Come on, dude, you guys deserve so much better, you know? In summary, I said this multiple times, this is not the best movie of the franchise, but it could have been better. All they would have to do is delete the 3 younger generation actors, put the first 2 characters of the first 2 installments with Isla Fisher and Lizzy Caplan's Luna. I feel like that worked great, and they do have memorable moments where I'm just gonna say one word: sand box. Sorry, I said 2, but if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That scene was amazing, even though it could have been better, but still, having those core members of Horsemen that should only be Horsemen, but I get it, you know, they're trying to appeal to the new generation. I'm just like, I have an attachment and I don't want to let go. However, you still get your traditional chase sequences, hand-to-hand combat with sleight of hand tricks in terms of being cuffed and then taking it away, and the familiar cinematic scores and soundtrack. Honestly, it's definitely a mixed bag. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give this a great solid C, and I saw this in Dolby Atmos, so your results may vary, and it's kind of disappointing. I don't mean to be very rude or very down on this movie, but when I make the list for the top 10 or top 5 disappointing movies of the year, it would be this. It would be this. I am so sorry. I was so excited for this. I was so hyped for it, but you gotta get where I'm coming from. When I saw the poster, I'm like, why do we need new younger generation actors? I get it, storyline purposes, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just, I just have an emotional attachment. I don't do good with separation, and it's not like we're getting separated. And one cameo actor deserves way more screen time than what he did. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about towards the end. But still, maybe I need to watch it again. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it, or maybe I just have a place in my heart for the first 2 installments that, you know, just mean a lot to me. But at the end of the day, if you made it this far, please consider subscribing, hit that like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. With that, take care, bye.